Let's tank Kingaroth in Antorus on Mythic difficulty. Now the only real major change to this fight is his ability called Weapons Upgrade, which basically means in phase 2, whichever Fel Reaver you kill last is going to empower the boss in some way. Now if you kill the Annihilator, it's going to empower his Ruiner ability. If you kill the Decimator, it's going to empower his Reverberating Strike. And if you empower the Demolisher, it's going to empower his Diabolic Bombs. Now for this strat, we're going to be killing the Decimator 3 times last and the Demolisher once last. Now how we do this is we kill the Decimator last the first 2 times. We're then going to swap the weakest group to the Demolisher, kill that once, and then for the final round, kill the Decimator one more time last. This is so we don't have to deal with any of the really horrible combos that come, and all we really have to worry about is the extra 25% damage when proccing bombs, and I'll go into that a little bit more later on. But for now, just realise that we're going to be killing the Decimator last twice for the first 2 rounds, swapping to the Demolisher for the last one, and then going straight back to the Decimator. So as you'll see in the video, we put a weak damage team on the ad that we want to die last. In this case, it's going to be the 2 tanks, and we put 2 warlocks on it. That's because they're also going to be proccing the bombs that are going to be going around the room. And they can also keep themselves up with like healing and like drain soul and stuff like that. So we'd put the other healers on the other 2 groups just to keep the DPS groups alive, as is quite a bit of raid damage going out at this point. So warlocks can keep themselves up really good, as well as tanks, as you'll see. For the other 2 groups, we pretty much just split them equally. I think we had like 2 healers on each side, and then just the damage, and then when they died, they helped kill the last ad. Just gotta make sure, like on Heroic, that you're killing these ads as priority. Making sure to use your damage cooldowns on the ads and not on the actual boss, because it's a bit of a wasted cooldown if you're going to use it on the boss when these ads take increased damage at the start. Now, once you kill the first ad, all that's going to happen is Reverberating Strike's going to get empowered. When it empowers, it's going to cause multiple enemies to explode, inflicting 2.5 million fire damage to all players within 10-yard radius. So this is basically a debuff, and healers just need to be aware and focus these players with heals. And people who are proccing your orbs, which should be your tanks and maybe your warlocks if there's some on the outside, depending on how you want to do your strat. You need to watch out for when these debuffs are up and not proc orbs when they're up, because the orb plus the debuff is pretty much going to kill these players. Now, once the second ad's dead, you want the Decimator group and the Demolisher group to swap. And this is just so that you don't get another stacking debuff, which would make it 50% increased damage, which would pretty much make the orbs be killing you at this point. So once you kill these ads, you're going to get the Demolisher ability, which is going to empower the orbs. And all this pretty much does is it means that you can only proc 1 orb at a time. And when you proc it, it's going to leave a debuff on the whole raid. I think the debuff lasts like 7 seconds, so you can't proc another orb in this time. If someone accidentally does, you can pretty much survive it with a raid cooldown. But any more than 1 missed one is pretty much going to wipe the raid. So just make sure you're only proccing 1 orb while the debuff's up, and have like one of the tanks do it. I'll talk about orbs at the end of the video though. And once you get past this and you're on to the 4th set of ads, once these die, the boss should, as I said, pretty much be dead. If not, you'll have 1 or 2% left. It depends where your damage is at. But at this point, the boss should pretty much be dying at this point. So just get these ads killed and don't focus the boss. And that's pretty much everything for the ads. Now let's have a look at the bombs. Now for bombs, we use 2 warlocks to soak the outside ones and the 2 tanks. Now pretty much the tank who takes the boss first is going to be proccing most of the orbs. The second tank can proc any that are in melee. But in general, you want to be proccing all 3 orbs all the time, apart from when the Demolisher is empowered or when debuffs are out. As I already said, if you proc, say, 1 or 2 orbs and the debuffs are out, you're pretty much going to be killing players. And if you overproc orbs when they're empowered, you're pretty much going to be wiping the raid. If you can proc these orbs as soon as you spawn, go for it. If they've got to do a full pass, again, do that. But you want to prioritise the ones in melee first, so they're not hitting the melee, and then work for the outside ones. When you get the empowered ones, again, prioritise the melee ones first and leave the outside ones for last. Always prioritise the melee ones, obviously, because they're in melee, and if you walk away from the boss, it's going to swing and hit a melee. So yeah, always go for the melee ones. Don't even bother with an outside one. If you've got a raw, use a raw to get to the ads on the last one and to dodge any orbs when needed. Now, apart from that, there's not too much to go into orbs. If you get a rough situation where you have like a few extra from the last wave coming, try to use a cooldown to catch up and maybe proc 4. Apart from that, that's everything to do with the orbs. The general goal with the orbs is just to have all 3 cleared before the next wave spawns, and just to be keeping them cleared out at all times. The only time this isn't true is when they're empowered and you can only clear 1 at a time, which is what you want to be doing. Any left up just needs to be dodged by the raid members, or you're pretty much going to wipe the raid. Now apart from that, everything pretty much remains the same as it does on Heroic. You want to be tanking on the tank debuff at 1, and the best time to use your defensive cooldowns is when you're tanking the boss and the other tank's proccing like say 2 or 3 orbs. you just want to pop one of your cooldowns just to help with the damage going out, because if you get like unlucky on the melee swings and all 3 orbs proc at once, it's pretty much going to be enough to one-shot you. So just be wary of when the other tank is proccing the orbs and when you've got the boss. This becomes more important the closer the orbs are to being procced on you. Say they're right on top of you, they're going to do a lot more damage. So just be wary of where the other tank is and where he's proccing the orbs. And that is pretty much it, guys, for Mythic encounter of this fight. I hope you liked my video. Please like, comment and subscribe for more Mythic guides.